The 2023 Angels had a disappointing season, much like the 2022 Angels, and the 2021 Angels, and the 2020 Angels, and the 2019 Angels, also the 2018 Angels, and the 2017 Angels, and, well, you get the point. Since 2015, the Angels have had at least one top 5 MVP finisher between Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, but have been unable to succeed despite cornering the market on the coveted award. With Shohei Ohtani leaving in free agency for the crosstown rival Los Angeles Dodgers, what's next for the team that's proven that individual success does not lead to wins in the MLB? And that's exactly what we'll be discussing in today's video. What does the future of the Los Angeles Angels look like? Now, to the untrained eye, or casual if you will, the Angels are a team that went all in at the deadline last season and traded away numerous solid prospects from a farm system that was already one of the worst in baseball, finished the season 4th in their division, the same division that the last 2 World Series champions reside in, and lost the best player in baseball, possibly in all of baseball history this offseason. So to say the expectations are low for the Angels would be an understatement. Now, as someone who watches the team on a regular basis and knows a lot more than the average fan, not to brag or anything, I can tell you that there's actually a decent amount to look forward to in this 2024 Angels team, and I'm actually really excited to go into this season not having high expectations for once, just to be let down again. The first thing I wanted to talk about is something that the previous iterations of the 2010s and 2020s Angels have lacked for a long time, and that is young talent. This is something that the 2024 Angels have a decent amount of relative to their previous decade. Their GM, Perry Manassian, has been very aggressive in bringing up prospects, and it seems to have paid off with guys like Zach Neto, who's an above-average shortstop defensively with great contact skills, who can hit for a little bit of power, although has had a little bit of injury trouble in his short major league stint thus far. Logan O'Hoppe, who is a power-hitting catcher that was on pace to hit over 40 home runs last season if it weren't for a shoulder injury that sidelined him for most of the year. He still hit 14 homers in just 51 games in 2023 and is off to a solid start in the spring and has potential to be a top 10 offensive catcher in MLB by the end of the season. And of course, there's first-round draft pick from 2023, Nolan Schanuel, I think I'm pronouncing that right, who has a chance to break the record for most consecutive games getting on base to start a career in MLB history. While he hasn't quite shown the power to go along with his elite contact skills and good eye at the plate, he did put on some weight and some muscle this offseason, so we'll see if he can, maybe break the 20-25 home run barrier and be seen as a home run threat. You also have Mickey Moniak and Joe Adell, who are both under 26 years old and were formerly considered top prospects. Moniak looked pretty good last year, and Adell looked good in a very small sample size. He just wasn't able to stay healthy, so we'll see what the playing time looks like for them this year. In addition to these solid players in the lineup, he also brought up relievers Ben Joyce, who throws 102 miles per hour and has a bit of a command issue, and Sam Bachman, who looked pretty solid out of the bullpen before getting hurt last season. While this may not seem like a lot of young talent, it is certainly a solid foundation starting to develop that hasn't been seen in Anaheim in almost a decade. While the Angels did develop Mike Trout and were able to at least take advantage of the rookie years of Shohei Ohtani, they've really lacked in the role players department, not really developing any solid baseball players. It's basically been boom or bust for them. Now, the Angels have also done a pretty good job of surrounding these young players with solid veterans like Brandon Drury, Taylor Ward, Aaron Hicks, and, when he's healthy, Anthony Rendon. These players add a solid amount of depth to the lineup and will help develop the previously mentioned young guns. And if you put these guys alongside Mike Trout, you have a pretty solid lineup when everybody's healthy. However, that's been the big catch with this team. Projections for Mike Trout this season have him playing just 81 games due to his injury history since 2020, as well as Anthony Rendon, who has already been sidelined once this spring training with a groin injury. But if Trout can play in just 130 games or more this season, which would be his highest games played since 2019 when he won his last AL MVP, the Angels could have a very underrated lineup. Now, as you may have noticed, I've neglected to talk about the pitching staff, specifically the rotation. Well, there's good reason for that. The Angels' rotation as it currently stands is nothing short of atrocious. Sure, Reed Detmers has a decent strikeout rate, striking out 168 batters in just 148 innings last season. Griffin Canning looked good at times last year, and Patrick Sandoval was projected by some to be a breakout candidate and receive Cy Young votes after finishing the 2022 season with an ERA of 2.91 in 148 innings pitched. I even really like Chase Silseth's stuff, but to say I'm overly optimistic about any of these arms would be a lie. They did sign an arm this offseason in Zach Plesac, who had a solid start to his career and completely fell apart over the last 3 seasons, pitching to a 4.72 ERA in just under 300 innings pitched over that span. So this move arguably makes the rotation even worse instead of better. Now, there are still 2 big names on the free agent market that the Angels could certainly afford in Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, but even with either of these arms, I don't think I could say I trust this rotation to lead them to 80 wins, let alone a postseason appearance. Now let's talk about the bullpen. Can we talk about the bullpen? I've been dying to talk about the bullpen. The Angels made a few solid signings to the bullpen this offseason, bringing back lefty Matt Moore and signing Robert Stevenson, Adam Simber, and Luis Garcia. They also have several relievers in camp right now fighting to make the bullpen, like Guillermo Zuniga, Hunter Strickland, Drew Pomeranz, and Adam Kolarek, but we'll see if any of them make the final roster. When you consider these signings with returning all-star Carlos Estevez and the aforementioned fireballer Ben Joyce, the bullpen could be really solid this season if all goes well, even though it never seems to with the Angels. Assuming the Angels will be a mediocre team this year, I really hope they look into trading some pieces like Brandon Drury and Taylor Ward to contending teams at the trade deadline to get some solid prospects to add to the future of this team. With a short retool and the right moves, the future of the Angels could be brighter than most would expect. And who knows, maybe low expectations and no pressure is just what this team needs to get right and finally make a push to give Angels fans their first taste of postseason baseball since 2014. This is what I looked like the last time the Angels were in the postseason. This is me at the postseason game in Anaheim where they got destroyed by the Royals. And this is me now. This is what a 10-year playoff drought does to a fan. If you're watching Angels, this is a cry for help. But let's be honest, none of anything I said matters unless Artie Moreno sells the team. So in conclusion, Artie Moreno sucks and the Angels will suck every year until they are under new ownership. Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it to this point in the video, consider subscribing and leaving a like as it would help this video reach a wider audience. Let me know in the comments what you think of the 2024 Angels, or just say mean things about Artie Moreno. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.